Hello, audience. My name is Austin. His name is Justin.
Hello.
And today, the movie review is for Kong Skull Island. The movie is about a team of scientists explore an uncharted island in the Pacific, venturing into the domain of the mighty Kong and must fight to escape this primal Eden. The movie stars Tom Hiddleston, Samuel L. Jackson, Brie Larson, John C. Reilly, and John Goodman, with a plethora of other actors. This movie is fully booked of actors.
Hmm.
But yeah, so let's do the good parts first, and then let's do the more negative, bad parts second. So, Justin, start us off.
Um, so going into this, I haven't really seen mini kaiju movies. I don't know if King Kong can counts as one, but
It
I'm
is.
okay. So I've heard the argument like, he's not one, but okay, whatever.
I mean, I
He's a
think
giant monster man thing majigger.
he's a part of the Godzilla Mothra type universe.
Hmm.
Now, at
Um,
least now he is.
I've seen like one Godzilla movie once, so going into this was kind of a fresh experience.
Sure, yeah.
Um, but it kind of just boils down to your typical oh, this is a giant thing, we're kind of scared of it, but it's kind of helping us, but we're still kind of scared of it kind of movie.
Sure.
um Looking back on it, since I'm gonna be completely honest, we were re-recording this review because my audio was shit in the previous one.
Yeah.
Looking back on it, basically we've had a day to think about it, and just looking back on the movie, it was only okay. I feel like I praised it a little too much
Sure.
last time. Like
Yeah.
one thing I said and I'll stand by is I liked Tom Hiddleston and Brie Larson together. I thought they
Yeah.
had pretty good chemistry, and that makes me hope that somehow, even though I'm pretty sure it's not going to happen, but somehow
No, it's not.
Captain Marvel and Loki will be somewhere together in the MCU. But there is a 99% chance that won't happen.
Yeah.
Um, but I just like seeing them together, and it's kind of funny to me how I feel like it's very often you see MCU actors together in
No.
like movies that are not Marvel. Like here you have Nick Fury, Loki, and soon to be Captain Marvel.
Hmm.
I'm sure that I literally just said this, and I can't think of any of their examples, but I'm sure there's a couple out there. Um, but
For
seeing
what?
characters like that together is fun.
Other examples for what?
Um, People who are actors in Marvel movies, acting together in different movies.
Tom Holland, and what's his name? Chris Hemsworth were in the Heart of the Sea or something like that
Uh huh. I have
together.
not even
That
heard
that
of
was
that. So.
that was technically before Tom Holland was cast as Spider Man,
Hmm.
but as Chris Hemsworth was like, go do this.
Hmm.
You're gonna be Spider Man.
But
Uh,
getting back on track, this movie, it did have cool action sequences. The CGI was okay. Um, there was a couple parts
that
that
that's
looked a
that,
bit off, but
yeah.
King Kong for the most part looked pretty good compared to everything else.
Sure,
Um,
yeah.
this movie you could tell was at least partially filmed on location. Um,
Partially, yeah.
which is good because it feels like a lot of movies nowadays just go the green screen route, even though they have like a $2 trillion budget, over exaggerating, of course.
$2 trillion.
Um, but it's just nice seeing things actually filmed on location because it makes the movie so much more immersive. I guess would be the best word for it.
To know that that's a real place somewhere
Hmm.
and not just a set or
Not
computer
just computer
generated.
generated.
Yeah.
Um,
But there's plenty of computer generated stuff in this movie.
yeah, they
Plenty.
didn't find a five-story monkey or
Yeah.
gorilla rather.
No.
Um, but
Easy
there
to cheat.
was cool fight scenes. The interactions between the characters were pretty alright for the most part. Um,
Yeah. All right.
I said it in our failed review, but I really enjoyed John C. Reilly's character. He added a comedic element to this that we see in a lot of movies nowadays that are action based.
You're a good group of boys to die with. Good group of boys. Oh, we're gonna die today. We're definitely gonna die. There's no going through this.
This is actually something you mentioned yesterday, but I'm going to bring it up because it is just a cool scene. Is when Kong has the propeller attached to a chain, and that's
Mhm.
just a really cool looking action scene.
Ridiculous, but cool.
Yeah, I mean, what about this movie isn't really all too ridiculous?
I mean, yeah, but I mean, when it comes down to it, we've seen some fairly ridiculous stuff become, um, like take Doctor Strange for example, a very ridiculous plot and a very ridiculous kind of movie, but it works and it's believable.
hmm
Not in the stance of that kind of magic actually exists, but they made it look believable and they made you feel that that was an actual thing that was happening. And that's what this movie did for the most part. There's a few scenes, of course, that like um, the boat propeller chain scene that was cool, but it's also pretty ridiculous that you know that happened. But yeah, I mean, it was a cool scene. I don't think not having it would have made the movie feel like something was missing. But
hmm You know what my
so,
movie's missing? It's the cool boat propeller on chain scene.
yeah, you know, King Kong needs to be a ninja for this scene. But yeah.
So what do you think was good about the movie?
Um, I also agree. John C. Riley was good. I think with a movie like this, there needs to be some type of comedic presence because it is kind of a very um, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a very overwhelming movie full of a lot of overwhelmed characters
hmm
that are scared, confused. Um, they've seen a lot of death in this short amount of time. They're on this uncharted island that they really don't know how to traverse. So to have that comedic value that will kind of bring you out of it for a second, and also say, you know what, this is a really harsh environment, um, but you can also laugh at this point right now, so that it's not all it's not all serious, which I like. It adds to the movie, and when I saw it in theaters, I also enjoyed that part. It's just because it is very loud and in your face, big action sequences, and to have him there, it was good. Um, Also, that his character kind of introduced you to the island at the beginning, and introduced you to Kong for to a certain extent, I guess. Um, I thought that Brie Larson, I liked her character as a kind of badass photographer lady that doesn't take shit from anyone. That she wasn't a total damsel in distress. Sure, they used her at some points in the movie as the damsel, but there's some points where you could see that she picked up a gun and she shot. Um, I also like the natives there, the Iwi. I thought their makeup was really done well, and they went stereotypical with it, but they didn't make it. Uh, I don't know. They didn't make it like the stereotypical like nomad. They're just all about war, and they're just there to kill you, and they're gonna shoot darts at you. They're just like, you know what, this is our territory. Who are you people? Why were you dropping bombs on our island? We have a god within Kong, and he actually is the protector, and I like that part. And honestly, when I saw it in the theater, the point where Brie Larson's looking through the camera and she's going to take a picture, and I guess it's a woman or maybe a man opens their eyes.
hmm
That made me jump because they were so well camouflaged. And then all the rocks with the paintings on them that they force you to kind of move your perception somewhere else so you can see the full picture. I just thought that was a cool looking thing. Um, Other than that, I did like John Goodman's character, though there was a part about him when it comes to, spoiler alert, his death scene. But I thought he was a good character. I always liked John Goodman on the screen. Ever since I was a little kid, Sully in Monsters Inc. Just that voice is comforting, and just him, he's kind of a comforting guy. So I did like seeing him. Also, the two guys from Straight Outta Compton, one of my favorite movies of that year. Seeing them in here, the guy who played Eazy-E and Dr. Dre, one being one was a soldier, which was the guy who played Eazy-E, and then the other guy was a geologist, and that's the guy who played Dr. Dre. Really cool seeing them in more stuff because I really only seen them in those movies. But Kong looked good. I do like him. I do like his design more than the. I just said it yesterday. Than the. What's the other King Kong movie? Who directed that one? What's his name? Let me just look it up. King Kong. But I did like his design better than Peter Jackson. That's his name. Peter Jackson's Kong. I just think it had it didn't just look like a giant gorilla. It kind of had a more mutated look to him. He was more bipedal, more humanoid is the word I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
More like a chimpanzee than a gorilla. And I like that. His fight sequences are cool. Some were a little bit shorter than others. I honestly, when I saw it in theaters, the final fight with the Skullcrawler, the big Skullcrawler, I thought it was shorter in theaters, but rewatching it again, I was like, oh yeah, I mean it's actually longer than I thought it was. Yeah, there's little small things I like about it. All the Kong scenes are pretty good. It's cool seeing him jump around the island and interact with his environment. And most of the time, it looked pretty believable. But there were some points that it was kind of, eh. But what about your dislikes about the movie?
It kind of just boils down to, it's hard to call it like a basic action movie, but it's kind of just like a lot of what it is, where it's just like a lot of explosions, a lot of gunfire, a lot of stuff like that you see in most action movies. It didn't really break many boundaries,
Yeah.
in my opinion. And there's just that typical, oh, it's a giant monster. Even though they say it's good, he did something I didn't like, so let's try to kill it.
Yeah.
Even though I know the consequences of, these other things that this big monster protects the island from, will like start taking over the island and destroy everything. I don't care. We'll kill those too.
And yeah, I mean that's the sequence you're kind of referring to with the Samuel L. Jackson and his soldiers trying to kill Kong at the very end. That was also a very good scene. Probably my favorite scene in the movie was that scene where they pour the what's it called, Justin? They pour the oh my god, what's it called? They put that substance to the water that I can't think of right now, and then they light it on fire while Kong's in there. I thought that sequence was very well executed. It looked very good. It made Kong seem more of a badass.
Mm-hmm.
And you really rooted for him at that point. I mean, you're rooting for him because you understand why he does the things he does. But going into the negatives for me and for you real quick, Samuel L. Jackson's character, he has played like a lot of likable assholes and a lot of likable villains in
Like Nick
movies.
Fury.
Yeah. And like in Kingsman, he played the guy that, he was likable, but he was the villain of the movie. He's played so many of those in this movie, I just want him to die.
Yeah, which I'm really glad they just show him get flat out just crushed by Kong.
Yeah, because it sucks. 'Cause Samuel Jackson is an amazing presence in movies. Um, you know, I kind of put it this way: when Morgan Freeman, knock on wood, when he does go, I think the person to take over his role would probably be Sam Jackson as the guy that you are like just expecting to be in the movie, and he just
Mhm.
makes the movie that much better. But in this movie, God, I just want him to die. And in that scene where when the lake's on fire, um, you're just like Kong, fucking rip him in half, eat him, throw him against the wall, something, crush him, whatever you do, just do it. Because you're just so tired of him, um, taking like basically he's putting everyone in danger. And I get No Man Left Behind. It's it's a brotherhood.
But even when
Uh,
he finds out the guy that he's going to go try to rescue was already dead, he was like, okay, so he killed him then, so let's go kill him then.
yeah, yeah. He's like it's Kong's fault, so let's go fuck him up. Um, but yeah, he was just annoying in the movie. And I'm sad to say that because he is such a good actor, and I love uh, Sam Jackson. But Christ Almighty, I laughed when he got crushed.
Hmm.
'Cause I was just done. It was a sigh of relief. Um, but yeah, so I'm sorry to cut in, but yeah, it was a cool sequence, but also it was seeing one of my least favorite parts of the movie being taken out. So continue.
Um, yeah, what you said, like it led to a cool sequence, but just like the entire motives leading up to that sequence is entirely dumb. Just them going
Yeah.
to try to kill Kong because Kong killed their men because they disturbed his land. So
Yeah.
it was just kind of dumb leading up to it. It led to a cool looking action scene that led to the biggest fight of the movie between Kong and the Skullcrawler,
Yeah.
but just the motives leading up to it was just so dumb. Um, just that's just my biggest qualm with the entire movie. It's just that whole Sam Jackson's character and his motives for doing everything.
Yeah.
It's just so dumb.
Yeah.
Um, what did you besides that one scene? What else did you not really care for?
Tom Hiddleston. Um, they brought him in as a tracker and a person who can that can get them all out alive and get them through this rough terrain. His character felt very underwhelming.
Yeah, he really
Uh,
didn't do any kind of tracking.
no, I mean they like I understand it's hard to track a giant monkey because if you get on top of a hill somewhere, you're gonna fucking see him,
Hmm.
and you're gonna know kind of where he's at, I guess. But when it comes down to it, he didn't look at vegetation. He didn't look, he never even looked at the damn sun to see, there's a point where, um, they're looking up at the sky, and these it's kind of it's cool looking, but also it doesn't really matter. There's a scene where they're kind of looking up at these what's it called in Alaska, or those parts where you can see the colorful
Aurora
lights in the
Borealis.
yeah, where they're kind of looking at that, and that they're kind of like having an intimate moment, and they're just kind of looking around, and then they say, okay, we need to go on top of this hill to scout out for to see where the boat's at. And they go on top of this hill, they see Kong, and they come back and they're like, yeah, the boat's over there. And it's like that, uh, kind of a dumb. I don't really understand where I. There's just like a lot of dumb moments with this character. That his character was not very well developed in the meeting of him, especially for the main character. Uh, and when it comes to his character's core motive for being there, as to be their tracker, as to be their guide in this on this island, he fucking sucked at it.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, I mean Tom Hiddleston, badass, love him as Loki. Um, but I mean, come on, I mean, there's literally a sequence where they have this, I guess, type of tear gas or something in these Badlands where Kong's family's remains are, and there's these kind of like pterodactyl things, and he takes John C. Riley's sword, and it's just a really quick sequence where he's wearing a gas mask and slicing these things in half, and then it just ends. And you're like, so was that just to show that he's kind of a badass because he sliced some guys up with a sword? Was that like this whole scene of like, yeah, he's really badass, guys. I mean, this is why they're following him. It's kind of dumb. So I guess like two of the really cool actors in this movie that I was expecting a lot more from were very underwhelming or just really annoying. Also, I don't want to like complain too much, but there's a few scenes, notably, like I mentioned earlier, the scene where they're on top of like this cliff, and Kong shows up, and Brie Larson's character touches him on the face or whatever. That's green screen to all hell, and they didn't really mesh the real life performances with the CGI characters in that scene. It's supposed to be kind of this touching moment where they're kind of seeing the reasoning behind Kong's doings, and it kind of fell flat because of the poor incorporation of the live action plus the CGI elements, because they were so close together. It wasn't like having this aerial shot with some people actually running and then the rest of it CGI around them. It was just a close-up shot that it was super easy to tell that it was, it was just done on a blue green screen, whatever it was. But yeah, I mean, I like Godzilla. I know it's a lot of people were mixed on Godzilla, but I think I liked it better than this one. But I do think there's more Kong shots. There's more shots of King Kong in Kong than there were Godzilla shots in Godzilla. So I do like that element in this movie too. But just overall, some of the characters are just very underwhelming. You didn't care whether or not they're going to be killed or not. And I'm just disappointed in some people's performances. Mm-hmm. But it's one of those movies that I can't really say is bad or terrible. It was just very underwhelming with such a big scope and such a big, literally just a giant ape. There could have been a lot more cool stuff done with that, but it just seems like I'd kind of a giant Easter egg hunt of where's Kong? How are we going to kill Kong? How are we going to kill these things on the island? We're going to get off the island. Well, these people want to go this way. We want to go this way. So how about you guys go this way? We'll go this way. Then you guys can meet us over here. And then, hold on. Well, there's a character that we're missing over here, so we need to go find them that way. Okay, we'll come with you now. And then there's some other characters left behind over here. It's just kind of like this big old, where's Waldo type thing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so any final thoughts, and then you can get into your rating and if you recommend it or not.
Not really any final thoughts. This movie, like, it's not overwhelming, it's not really underwhelming, it's kind of just that in between of, like, it's hard to feel it's very strong either way on it, because it's not terribly bad, but it's not a great film, so it's kind of just that middle.
Sure, yeah.
So into ratings and recommendations. I think yesterday I gave this movie a 7.5. I think that is too high for it, so I'm going to give it a 6.5.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 7.5 is a bit too high for it.
God dang it, Justin. So yesterday I gave Kong Skull Island a 6.5, and it sounds like I kind of dislike the movie more than Justin, but I'm still going to stick by the 6.5 rating. Mm-hmm. Would you recommend?
If you're looking just for something to pass the time, and you're not looking for a great cinematic experience, Kong isn't the worst choice you can choose, so it's kind of just thumb to the side for me.
Yeah, I agree. It could be really good for some people, and it could be very dull for others. So just kind of use that as your, if you want to go see a action war monster film for 2 hours just to pass the time, like Justin said, sure, go see it, buy it on Blu-ray or whatever. But for me, it's kind of like, oh, it's on TV. All right, I guess I'll watch it.
Hmm.
So yeah, thumb to the side.
Any final thoughts?
The final credit scene, the post credit
Oh,
scene,
that's right.
that kind of mixed into this new kaiju monster universe. It's basically all the people um, from what's it called,
Monarch.
Monarch, sitting around a table looking at slides of cave paintings, and the character, the geologist who, like I mentioned earlier, also played Dr. Dre, said, he's Kong's not the only king, and they show a painting of Godzilla, a painting of Mothra, and one other monster that me and Justin couldn't identify. But that also, now that I'm thinking about it, now that I have more time to think about it, does that mean Kong? Oh yeah, duh. I'm an idiot. Never mind. I answered my own question. I said, does that mean Kong precedes um, Godzilla? And of course, it's set in the Cold War.
It's like the
Um,
70s.
so yeah, and and Godzilla was set in more modern day. So I answered my own dumb question. Um, but yeah, so it was kind of a cool scene. It was really quick. It was like 2 minutes long, and it just set up for this whole new Godzilla. I think the next Godzilla movie is called Godzilla, um, King of Go- King of Monsters. I think that's
Hmm.
what it's called. Godzilla King of Monsters,
Sounds right.
which is Godzilla 2. And I believe they're also setting up for a King Kong versus Godzilla movie at some point,
Hmm.
which is going to be crazy. But yeah, that's it.
So that's pretty much it for us, guys. Let us know down below what do you think of Kong Skull Island. But until next time, guys, we'll see you later.
Mm,